May I have a roll call, Mr. Crowdy?
Mr. Comando? Mrs. Bradley? Ms. Ainello? Ms. Mahoney? Mr. Quinn?
Here.
Ms. Robinson?
Here.
Ms. Roloff? Ms. Zottarelli?
Present.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all members of the Board of Education and to the Bergen Record in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, 1975. At this time, please be advised that all cell phones and electronic devices should be turned off. May we have the superintendent's report, please?
No, not yet, Steve. Swearing, Vicki.
Oh, sorry, excuse me. Shall we do the swearing in?
Yeah. So just for the public's knowledge, so we had a vacancy from Tim White earlier in January. The board interviewed candidates on February 4th, last Monday, and selected Mrs. Victoria Torbick as our next board trustee, which I'll give her the oath of office now.
All right, and this is make sure I'm not looking. Did you see that?
I state your name.
I, Victoria Torbick,
Swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States and this state
in the United States and this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I state your name.
I, Victoria Torbick,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of
for the office of
member of the Board of Education,
member of the Board of Education,
that I am not disqualified as a voter,
that I am not disqualified as a voter,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully
impartially, and justly
impartially and justly
perform all duties of that office
perform all duties of that office
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Don't make me laugh.
Okay, now we'll go to the superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. I hope that you all have your smartphones with you and that you received the message that we are closed for inclement weather tomorrow. It's before 9 o'clock. It's all good, right? Okay. I also want to thank Mike Mayer for always doing those wonderful messages. His voice sounds so much better than mine would on that recording. I told him he should have been a DJ, and then he said, I actually was a DJ one time. And I would like to welcome Mrs. Torbeck to the board. Happy to have you. And I would also like to thank, and I know, Ms. Zottarelli, you're going to give a little update later, but I would just like to thank the association and Mrs. Zottarelli, Mrs. Roloff, Jessica Queen, our attorney, Ray, everyone who stayed till very, very early in the morning last week, one night, for their hard work on coming together with a contract. So I'm grateful that we have a memorandum, and Mrs. Zottarelli led the charge on that and did it beautifully. So thank you for that. let's see. I wanted to just remind the board that on Wednesday evening, we have a special session at 6 o'clock, which is open to the public. It's in room 127, right down the hall, if anybody wants to join us, for Chapter 4 on practices 4, 5, and 6 in the servant leadership text. So those practices are coaching, not controlling, unleashing, and engaging the intelligence of others, and practicing foresight, if that's something you can practice. So we'll be working on that Wednesday from 6 to 7 before our meeting. Of course, it is open to the public if anybody would like to attend. You're welcome to. And the rest of my report, I'll save for Wednesday, all the goings-on in the school and things like that. I'll save for Wednesday night for public session. And I think that's all I have.
Thank you very much. And maybe we have the business administrator's report now.
Thank you, President Quinn. Most of my report I'll have for Wednesday evening. Just for the board, I just passed out we received the final audit report. Remember, we're waiting for that one post-employee benefit number, so that's been completed. So you have in front of you the comprehensive annual financial report, the larger report, then an auditor's management report, the smaller report, and then a two-page synopsis of audit, which also the public has as well. So you can, peruse through that if you like. Review all the numbers, and most importantly, there's no audit comments for the 17-18 school year, and we'll be approving that on Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and again, congratulations on having no items to fix or correct in the report, and an excellent job.
One last thing I got to do is corrective action.
Can I have a motion to open the meeting for public comment on agenda items only?
Second.
Oh, no, it's on there, everything.
Is there any members of the public that would like to comment on agenda items only? Seeing none, I'd like to close to public comment for agenda items.
Motion.
This one. It was down here, we're going to do the agenda, we're going to do the meeting
Oh,
first, and then
I was
all this
thinking-
stuff. That's
okay.
right. You could call it again later if you want.
We'll now go to agenda items for board discussion and comment. Any questions? Okay, first we have board action items coming up, B21 through B23. Are there any questions concerning any of that?
B22 will be discussed in closed session.
Seeing none? Kelly? Would you like to do education curriculum?
Sure. Are there any questions on any of the educational curriculum items? E10, number 8, just kind of crossed out, so I think Grace will talk about that later.
It was a revision
Okay.
on a former action item.
Okay. E25, student services 1 through 7, and E26, field trips.
Are there any questions regarding any of that? Seeing none?
Through the chair.
No. Thank you.
Number 6 and 7 is the same student ID. We homeschooling the student till January 29th, and then they're going, well, they went, I should say, is that correct? To the Princeton Healthcare on the 31st? Is that correct? Okay.
29. Yep. Yep. So there's a difference in the cost for the two different services, hence the two different.
Any other questions?
Now, you know, my pet peeve on number 4, again, I mean, why are we approving this in February when it was from December?
This one. So when, it's my understanding that if something is IEP driven, that is a student placement, sometimes that's going to happen, the placement's going to happen before the board has the opportunity to take action on that.
Right, so if it were required to give it because of the federal IDEA law, we're not allowed to say, you have to wait until we get board approval. Because it's a federal law, we have to comply with that, and then we have to ask you for retro. Typically, we're not going to do anything too large, and Danielle and/or myself will know about it beforehand, or Dr. Eisenhower.
I understand that there was a meeting in between, though. That's my December to February. It takes 2 months.
It could,
December?
depending on the contract situation. I'm not sure which provider it was, but it
Okay.
could take to get their approval for the contract to bring it back to you to have you approve.
Okay. Thank you.
Any others? Angela, would you like to do finance, budget, and facilities?
Sure, so, hang on. So the Budget Committee met on January 29th, and we discussed the budget. Of course, that's always an issue. And right now, we're over cap by 2.6 million, and again, this includes new staffing requests and maintenance. It also reflects flat state aid, which we won't know yet. We're trying to look at our costs of special education through our new director. I think some of these are on the agenda, the other things we've talked about, so were the sick leave, we saw a lens system demo video on which is the security system and how it works. It was pretty cool, how it works if there's a lockdown and how quickly things can go out and the buttons, and it was very, very good. And where the centrally located speakers are and things like that. And then I think, is the rest of this on there, Ray? Is there anything? I don't want to go through everything. Bids for the security festivals will be opened on February 12th, which is tomorrow. You're going to update that later? Okay. All right. And then the food service, they want to the manager would like to run some elementary food promotions like Waffle Day or Sushi Day, and the committee was in favor of that. Okay, and then on the agenda, does anybody have any questions? I know Ray's going to go over some more stuff, but are there any questions? We also have the financial report and audit report on here. Do you have a question?
Through the chair.
Yep.
Under F83, number 2. Ray, is that the amount I've been asking for? About?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Hallelujah. Thank you. 4 years later, but it's
So on F82 and F83, so F82, we started, the district received a notice that we were going to be receiving trust funds from former board member John Brody. So he left Saddlebrook and 6 other beneficiaries a sum of money. Right now, it totals $156,000. There's a small amount, once they close out the 2018 trust tax forms, I guess, there'll be a small amount coming, so it'll be revised probably in March. Anyway, we have $156,000. It's pretty much designated for the middle and high school. That's what it was written out to. So some of the items we've discussed to move forward with at this time was F83, these 5 items that have been put off in various years that just need to get repaired or replaced. So we're trying to work as fast as we can to get quotations or a cooperative purchase so we could move forward with the scoreboard for the softball field so it could be in place for the season, the pole vault mats for the track season. Netting is needed for lacrosse. What it is when lacrosse is practicing and the nets are up, and also track is on the long jump, there's a safety concern with the lacrosse balls possibly hitting a track athlete. So we'd like to put up some netting there. The next 4 and 5 are just replacements of some items. The tables for the trainer's office are in need of replacement, and the scoreboard, one of the scoreboard works in the main gym, the other one needs a motherboard, so that could take care of that. We're meeting with Mrs. Coffey and Mr. Ainello and the administrative team to discuss what other items we'll bring forward to the Buildings and Grounds Committee. But as I mentioned before in my emails, that every purchase under the $156,000 will be noted in the minutes, as small as $850 $48, to items that are $15,000 and so forth.
Could you speak to Mr. Brody's intentions for the money and why it's being, he asked to have it spent a certain way?
Well, I just want to make it clear that it wasn't as though this money went to our general fund and we could use it for whatever we wanted. There were specific directions from him on how we could use it, and so that's why it's being used for these items. I just want to make that clear to everybody.
Okay.
Thank you. Just one quick question on these scoreboards. Does that mean, once that's fixed, both scoreboards will be working simultaneously in the gym?
Number 5, yes.
Great. Thank you.
F-84, the bid for the security vestibules at the 4 buildings was scheduled for tomorrow. We had given a heads up to the contractors that if school's closed, the bid will get moved to Wednesday. So I'll have to post some signs in the school building. We'll hold it on Wednesday at 11 o'clock. If everything comes back in order, we'll look forward to making a recommendation on Wednesday evening. If there's any issues, we'll have to postpone it. And F-85 was a recommendation from our food service manager for 2 new cold display cases, and the cafeteria paid by cafeteria funds. I spoke about the audit, F-86. And F-87 was a transportation agreement with Essex County for a student that was placed out of district. And I think that was it.
Thank you,
Any
Mr. Pratt.
questions on any other items, F-73 through F-88?
Seeing none, we'll move to policy. Kelly?
We did a first reading at our policy meeting last week, or 2 weeks ago, I guess it was. And there was lots of policies. Most of the changes were required. There were a couple of things that we put in. Then there's a second reading on the policies for the acceptable use of the computer networks and resources. And does anybody have any questions on any of the policies or changes or anything like that?
Seeing none, Ms. Zattarelli? Negotiations?
After a grueling night, okay, and I also want to thank Mrs. Shanley. She was also there as well for a good chunk of the night. But we did come to an agreement, and an MOA was signed, and right now, that's all I can offer, but I'm very happy to say we worked it out. In case anyone didn't know, we were here till 5:30 a.m. Just saying.
I'm sad that was Michelle's first negotiation session. Very first.
And
We're very last.
I'm surprised I didn't have her resignation.
And again, thank you to everyone that participated, that both on the board and all of the teachers' union. That is a truly marathon experience. And thank you all for hanging in there through all of that time to get to agreement. It's a wonderful feeling. Mike is not here. Personnel, any questions? P131 through?
There's a question.
Wait, 143? Seeing none. Any other committee or liaison reports?
I do have a question. So personnel, was that going to be a whole board discussion rather than having a chairperson, or is that chairperson going to be speaking on behalf of the board when Wednesday's meeting?
The chairperson will be bringing it to the meetings, but it is a full board discussion. It is not a per se committee.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Any committee or liaison reports covered? Any correspondence? Old business? New business?
Through the chair, I just want to say, I did go to part 2 of the art show down at Town Hall. And as usual, Ms. Pritchett did a wonderful job with our students. And the art is up there if anyone hasn't seen it yet. I really think you should. Just wanted to say.
Thank you very much. Again, motion to open to the public for comment.
Second.
Anybody want to make any comments? Okay, so I will read this. Residents are requested to state their names, addresses, and subject matter. In the event it appears the public comment portion of the meeting may exceed 45 minutes, the presiding officer may limit each statement made by the participant to 5 minutes duration. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged and will not be responded to by the board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded by the laws of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comments made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments and be aware that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. I'm finished.
Good evening. On behalf of Teresa Martin, 491 Cherry Street, Franklin Lakes, New Jersey, and multiple elementary schools during the daytime in Saddlebrook. On behalf of the negotiating team and the SBEA, I would just like to take the time to thank Sylvia Zottarelli, Michelle Roloff, Ms. Keene, Ms. Shanley, and Mr. Karate for being so willing to stay up all night and work back and forth to come to a fair and honorable agreement. It was a pleasure working back and forth and getting that type of movement and ending up with a very successful, hopefully successful MOA. So thank you very much for your efforts.
And yours as well.
Thanks.
Anyone else like to comment? Motion to close to public? Second?
Second. Aye.
All in favor? Where are we now? The board will now move to closed session to recess. Closed session to discuss personnel, HIB investigations, contract negotiations, and matter covered by attorney-client privilege per NJSA 10-4-6, the Open Public Meeting Act. The subject matter discussed may be disclosed to the public if and when the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Action may be taken when the board reconvenes. Action will not be taken when the board reconvenes in open session. May I have a motion? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.